Hello guys, this is another problem regarding surface area and volume, and this is a little bit more complicated than the previous problems that we have solved. So now let's try it, whether you can solve it or not. It is also easier once you imagine the geometric shape on your mind. Now what is telling us? A hollow iron pipe, whatever they call as a pipe, promptly you need to think for a geometrical shape. Whenever we talk about pipe, it's very easy to imagine a shape, and that is just like pipe. And what thing is looking like a pipe? Obviously a cylinder, right? So obviously promptly we know we are talking about cylinders, right? We are talking about cylinders. So whatever formula we require it for cylinders. Now pipe is 21 centimeter long and its external diameter is 8 centimeter. If the thickness of the pipe is 1 centimeter and iron weighs 8 gram per cubic centimeter, then the weight of the pipe you need to get. So it makes it a little bit complicated, but let me tell you something. It's not that much complicated at all, because they told you that the weight is 8 gram per cubic centimeter. So for 1 centimeter cube of pipe or of iron, it will weigh 8 grams, right? And this value, what is this value? This value is nothing but volume, because cubic unit is obviously for the volume. So volume of iron pipe. So this is volume of iron pipe. So once you get the volume of iron pipe, just multiply it with 8 gram and you get your answer, the weight. So it's fair. So what you need to calculate? You need to calculate the volume, which is unknown right now. And to calculate volume, it requires certain type of variable, certain number of parameters, and let's see whether it is provided or not. They provide us the length of the pipe, that is 21 centimeter, and we know the length is this one. So 21 centimeter is provided, and the length here is h equals to 21 centimeter. It's given, right? It's given, and everything is in centimeters, so you don't need to worry about conversion of units. So it's 21 centimeter and it's telling the external diameter and internal and thickness of the pipe. So what does it mean actually? Now we need to zoom in this particular area actually. Let's zoom in it. Let's zoom in it. And if we look at this particular area, what we can see about pipe is something like this, and rest of the hollow tube is moving on like that, right? If we zoom in here, so what does it mean? From the center, this distance is called external diameter. This complete distance from this top to there, because pipe is have a thickness, right? And this is the section which is called thickness of pipe, and it should be there, right? Thickness should be there, and this thing we haven't talked about yet. So this is the external diameter, and this external diameter, or simply write it as R2, is 8 centimeter, right? And this thickness is also provided as 1 centimeter, right? Now if we exclude this thickness from the external diameter, we will get what is called this internal diameter, right? We can get the value of internal diameter here, right? So now we generally don't talk about diameters much, because we want to get the radius. Now if this is the external diameter, so the external radius, or so R2 for external radius will be 4 centimeter, right? Because this is the diameter. We need to talk about radius, because radius is the parameter we require to calculate the volume. So if this is the radius, so try to imagine now, let me change the color. If this red thing, this is the radius for outside. Let me take this red one. This is the radius for outside, and this is the thickness. If we just exclude the thickness from the radius of outside, we get the radius of inside, right? And that's what we require. This is called R1. Let's just call it R2. So if we simply subtract this thickness from R2, we get the radius internal, right? So now let's write internal radius equals to external radius minus thickness, so it will be c centimeters, right? So we get external radius, we get internal radius, both of them. Internal radius, let's say r1 here, right? We get both of them, right? Now what we need to calculate? We need to calculate the volume of the iron, and the volume here should be calculated. How to calculate the volume here? If we simply take this internal radius and calculate the volume using internal radius, it will give us the volume of the center region, which is hollow, right? Because it is not made up with any iron, right? So let me write here. This is a very important point for knowing what is going on here, because remember the volume is pi r square h. That's very basic. Now if we simply calculate it by pi r1 square h, which is the value for internal radius, we get the volume of hollow region, which is not having any iron. So it won't give us the answer, right? So we need to calculate the volume of this particular area. So how to calculate the volume of this area which is made up with iron, not the hollow area, right? So the way to calculate that is simply pi r square h, but slight modification will be there, pi r2 minus r1. So that it will be r2 square minus r1 square into h. This is going to be the volume, pi r2 square minus r1 square into h. So now let's find out the values. So pi is obviously 22 by 7. R2, the value of R2 is 4 centimeters. So 4 centimeters square will be 16 minus R1 is 3. So it will be 3 square will be 9, and into h, and the value of h is 21 centimeters. So let's put 21 here. 22 by 7. Remember, every calculation will be at the end. Into, here is only 7 into 21. So here we go, 7 will cut out each other. So 22 into 21, it will give us a kind of 2 and then 6 and 4. So 4, 6, 46. So it will give us this 462 cubic centimeter. This is the volume. So once we get the volume of this particular material made up with iron, then what we need to do, because it is telling us that 1 centimeter cube pipe will weigh 8 gram. So 462 centimeter cube pipe will weigh into 8. We need to multiply it with 8, this amount of gram. So it will be 3696 gram. So this is going to be the weight of our iron, and the answer obviously in kg. So let us convert it into kg. So if it is 3696 gram, it should be 3.7, almost 3.7 kind of kg, or 3.696. Actually the actual answer 3.696, or approximately 3.7 kg. Now let's find here, the answer is 3.696. So the option B is the correct answer for this question, that particular pipe will weigh 3.696 kgs, right? So this is how we can get our answer for this question. It is obviously a complicated question, a complicated problem, but if you don't understand it, just pause it back, just go back and start to look from the beginning, and slightly tricks that I've talked before to calculate the region or the volume of the region that is containing the iron, not the hollow region. That's the most important decision for this whole problem. And that's it, guys, and I hope that's helpful. Thank you.